whole situation with that discovery that took place in Gaza. Just like everything else, the longer that it goes, the more time that is going to be to produce horrible things.
Yeah.
But I also seen situations where when you go to war at that level, and you have that many casualties at the same time, it is usually for a health risk that people will grab a group of people and will bury them together. I've seen places where they will even go to the extent of burning the bodies, right? And they do that more for a health risk. I don't know the details about this whole situation. I'm highlighting that because a lot of people are immediately either in one end or the other, are quick to jump into any of the wagons, meaning the one that is immediately saying, "Look, what an incredible atrocity!" Right? And by the way, anybody dying under this kind of circumstances, it is painful to see, especially when you're talking about women and children. The other side is that you have a group of people that are immediately defending the position. Well, Israel has no choice. All I'm telling you is that I'm not sold out to one side nor the other. The fact of the matter is that my issue is with Hamas, not with the Palestinian people. My issue is with any terrorist entity. My issue would be very easily defined. I have an issue with Iran. I have an issue with Hezbollah. I have an issue with all of these entities that are producing the kind of terrorism that is willing to not only kill their enemies, but also they're willing to kill their own people, right? As far as Israel goes and their right to defend themselves and the fact that they happen to be there, there's a lot of things that you can respect about, and there's also a number of things that you can say maybe that could have been managed a little better. But hindsight is 2020. You know what I mean? It's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback about every single one of situations when you're surrounded by 22 states that all of them essentially don't want you to be there, right? It's not easy to have a good balance to maintain the whole situation. As much as I love and respect anything connected about the history of Israel and the Jewish faith and the Jewish, obviously as a Christian, knowing that these histories are connected, there's a higher level of respect. However, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to call something that if in fact this was done just as an atrocity where a group of people, the same way that you had a group of criminals that went and killed a lot of innocent people, if somebody did something at this level, almost behaving the same way, then they got to be called out the same way. I just don't know the details, you know what I mean? And I hope that is for reasons, like I said, what I know is there's two type of mass graves, you know what I mean? One that is connected to the worst type of actions that humanity can absolutely produce, and the other one that is absolutely done because there is a health risk if you just leave a bunch of bodies out there.
I get you. I don't think it's the second one. I think it's definitely the first one. Why? Because
what gives you that?
Because they're in the middle of a war. I think we have a false sense of things are going according to the rules, or people are nicer than I think that we think they are.
So you're saying that Israel intentionally killed a bunch of people? And
100%. They are at war right now. Like, you got to understand, if I am willing to say...
Are you saying it as something that should be acceptable? Or
it's not should be. It should not be acceptable.
No, or you're saying it as something that it would be a behavior of Israel in general?
No, it's a behavior of a soldier. If I am a soldier, I am thinking to kill people. There's no way around it. So then you got to understand, and it doesn't matter which side the soldier is on. Once I identified an enemy, my goal is to kill the enemy.
I got it.
Right? So
far so good.
So then now here's what happens. When I'm in a place and I know that there's enemies, there's going to be casualties no matter what. And some of those casualties, maybe they deserved it, maybe they didn't. I cannot think rationally as the person who was thinking, I got to kill people, right? And then so what happens is, this is, I believe, a part of every war. Every war, I don't care who's involved, there's going to be a bunch of people who should have never died, who is going to die at the hand of a soldier. Because it is the soldier's job to kill. There's no way around it. So then I cannot rationally say, oh no, but that baby who has a bomb, don't kill that one. Or this one who looks like they might be dangerous. I don't know. My job is to kill. So then what's gonna happen? There's gonna be a huge percentage, like collateral damage, a huge percentage of people who had nothing to do with the war or who's gonna die, and then I know that's not supposed to happen according to the rules of war. So then I got to do my power to clean up after my mistake. But that happens in every war.
This is a very well-trained army. This is also an army that knows that is playing out against public opinion.
I get you.
This is an army that knows that even the things that they actually get right or that they do right, they still gonna be painted and presented as if they did wrong. Like they're very much aware of that. So everything that you're describing about, I'm a soldier, is you're in front of me, I have no choice, I gotta kill you, I gotta kill a bunch of people. But there is a difference when there's 200 bodies in front of you. And there is a chain of command or communication going from bottom all the way to top saying, what do we do with these 200 bodies? And if what went from top to bottom was like, listen, just, bury everybody there, who cares? Especially when you're saying for the purpose of even hiding the casualties. And that's a problem. That's a significant problem. And I'm having a hard time believing and accepting that can happen in a very well-trained army. You know what I mean? It's just I understand the rules of war. I understand that sometimes you're not able to operate within that set of rules. And I also know that, like I said, I introduce even the health component, right? But these are places where, this is very, very serious, you know what I mean? And so then is the final thing that I will tell you, which is the manipulation of information. If you have a group of people that are telling you, do not walk away from your house, do not walk away from the hospital, do not walk away from the whole situation, precisely because they want to give the appearance that it looks worse than what it is. Listen, it's impossible that it's the same group of people that went and buried their own people to then make it look like, I hate to tell you this, all of it is possible. And that would be more likely than that chain of command going all the way up, coming down. But if that's the outcome, then that's a problem either way. Both cases, you know what I mean? Where you hey, listen, let's just pretend here we have 200 bodies. It's our own people. Let's put everybody. Let's tie them up. Let's make them seem like they were abused before they were killed, and then let's bury everybody in plastic bags, and then let's call everybody and say, look what they did, right? Which, by the way, has happened over and over and over again. That's a significant problem. But it is also a problem if that's an area that went up and down and what came back was like, hey, listen, let's just hide it. Because that's the problem, right?
Because for me, the way that I think about it is, if let's play devil's advocate. If it was in fact Israel that went in, did all of that stuff, there's no different, like, whatever they were talking about, clearing the buildings under the that were above the Hamas headquarters and stuff, and all that stuff that was happening, then why did you go through that if you were gonna do this anyway?
Correct.
It's like you want to have a pretty face when everybody. It's like so that's what it's like if they truly did this, then that's exactly what's happening, because there's no difference between that and the guys coming in the little paracaídas thing and like going and killing.
When you say Israel, though, it's not one person. You got to remember, this is a country. So then maybe there are some people who believe in, no, we got to save as many people. But then there's other people who's like, no, everybody needs to die. Like, you got to remember that. We're in a war, and there's not like two people are at war with each other.
It's not a choice that a simple soldier.
What do you mean? Yes, I can. If I'm at war,
with one guy, I give you 10 guys.
No.
200 people. First of all, is that something that you did by yourself? Like, I mean, let's face it. Let's break it down. I agree with you to an extent. Meaning, if we win, the encounter was, I'm alive, I killed 10 people. Usually they stay there. You keep going on, we're moving on. 200 people and more is something that requires, obviously there was a group participation. The same way that they were announcing, hey, get your people out because we're going to do this. Here's what is supposed to happen when you have mass casualties at this level. At the very least, the same way that you made on the announcement to say, come don't or go out. Now you're responsible to say you got to bury your own people. Come get your own people or move them out because this is going to become a health hazard for your people, for everybody in there. Now, if you don't do that, then what we're gonna do is we're going to excavate a hole big enough
Yeah, I get
to
you.
pay. You're supposed to. Those are the rules of war, right? You're supposed to announce that you're doing this for a
You
following
say rules
reason.
and he likes up because he's like,
For a
"That's not
following-
rules."
There's done. Yeah.
No, I get it. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But my point to you is that there's a difference between I just left 200 bodies
Yeah.
out on the street
Yeah.
than to take the time to bury everybody into a single. That is not the choice of somebody that is at a small ranking level of the army. It's got to go high enough. It's got to go high enough with this person, even if it's not all the way to the top.
Yeah, I get you.
I understand what you're saying in terms of listen, everybody's fighting. There's a level of command.
agents that went rogue.
Somebody's responsible for a unit and so and so. But it's got to go high enough that somebody's got to say, wait a minute, this is outside of the normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and so. We got to make sure that we're very clear about that. Because otherwise, then I don't know how to describe it. You know what I mean? It's just.
No, I think it's bad. I think it's the worst. That's just me personally. I mean, and it's not good, but that's what I believe. And why? Because I think not everybody, like some people, in their brain, they're tired of the whole everything. Like there's some people who will rather nothing more than for a certain group of people to not exist on the planet, and in any way that they can to further that agenda, then they're gonna do that. And unfortunately, not everybody who is on one side believes in the same thing as the people on that side. You know, but it's messed up. But that's
War is ugly.
Yeah.
War is definitely. There's nothing good about it.
Correct.
I don't know that there is ever a winner. To be quite honest with you, I think
Sure.
that too much is lost. Whether it's people, character,
I agree.
human decency,
Correct.
and I think that unfortunately this is something that is not gonna go away. I don't see that region, to be quite honest with you, Alexi. I don't see that region ever getting to the point
It'll
where
be
there
regular.
would be like a stable type of business. The things that have to change are already too deeply rooted on every single individual in that area.
Yeah.
That I don't know where that whole thing is gonna go, but hopefully hopefully there are better answers that can come out of this thing. Anyway, with that being said, guys, final thoughts.
Pay attention. Do not be part of the silent majority. Do not get sold on victimhood. Do not get sold on the racism thing, the whole entitlement thing, helplessness, laziness. None of that stuff is good for you. Pay attention to whatever's happening because right now we're suffering. It's funny. I've been talking about this for 3 years now. Elections have consequences, and so guess what? It's getting progressively worse. And the question is, do you want 4 more years of exactly this? Or is things getting progressively worse? Or do you want to have the opportunity to say, man, let's make a change? That being said, it's not just the presidential election. It has everything to do with whatever's happening with senators, House of Representatives, governors, judges. Obviously, you have stupid judges in Delaware. So it's like all of these things have an impact, and it's you paying attention and not closing your eyes, and especially not getting sold into the whole victimhood thing that can really make a difference in your life. The American dream is life and well, but it's not. Nobody's entitled to it. And that's the beautiful thing about it. So let's go get it.
I like it. Biggest thing that I would say is a lot of times people will think about the difference between like someone who thinks like or believes in communism or ideas that revolve around communism versus capitalism. And I think the biggest one that we got to be thinking about is the difference between having an employee mindset versus an entrepreneur mindset. And I think anybody who believes that there's a boss or a group of people who can dictate how much money they make or what things are available to them to buy or how their life is going to go because they said so, then not only is that going more towards communism, but that's also going more towards you being an employee, which is just code word for slave in a lot of situations. So I think we got to really be thinking like, We got to be entrepreneurs. We got to be our own bosses. We got to start thinking like the people who's in control of creating what we want, in our communities and in the country. So to me, entrepreneurship is going to be the key to everything. So not only vote, as far as with things like politics, but vote for 1099, or vote for you being your own boss, and making sure you create something for yourself and your family. So that's my biggest thing.
So when I came into the country, guys, the I have no political opinions, connection, affiliation. You know what I mean? When you come from another country, whatever you know about politics is connected to the country that you come from, right? And then I found myself here immediately when I finally made some kind of connection to the political conversation and environment. I find myself immediately leaning to the Democrats, right? Because they do a phenomenal job telling you that they are doing things for the people that they are not doing for the people. They do a phenomenal job making you believe that they're going to be capable to fix every single one of your problems, when in reality all they're doing is removing your ability to be responsible for the things that you need to do, personal accountability and stuff like that. So I will tell people that the idea of becoming, today I do label myself a Republican at this very moment, because I also don't want to call myself an independent, because I think that's a little bit of a cap out. If the political arena was a little different, where the fight of ideas was not so extreme, you know what I mean? Like if it was just a matter of, I disagree a little bit of this and I disagree a little bit of that, then I can still keep myself and say, I'm going to be an independent, so that depending on how we have improved this side and that side, then I'm going to be leaning in that direction. The discrepancy, the separation between one and the other is so big today that I have no single reason, and I'm having a hard time. I have great friends. There was somebody that in my life was somebody that I respected tremendously. That today it's impossible for me to have a reasonable conversation, because this is a man that was sold out his whole life to be in that, and I cannot support some of the things that he's supporting. And it's funny how that really will affect profound relationships that were around for many years. So I'm asking, my position would be to tell everybody, start asking yourself the question, as we get close to these very meaningful elections, what is your position? What are the things? Where should you be? And start having some of the conversations that might be a little uncomfortable. Reach out to people. Hey, why do you think the way you think? Why do you think, what's better for the individual? What's better for the community? What's better for the country? Right? Because when you actually flip it around and you said, actually, whatever is good for the country is usually good for the community, and whatever is good for the community should have a positive impact on the individual. There's no guarantee that a community or society will have the capability to produce a good individual. But I can assure you that it's a higher probability, almost a guarantee, that very good individuals have the capability to produce a good society and a good community. So I want to echo in a positive way that the future is bright.
Yes.
Today, I was a little conflicted about the whole situation, but the resilience of this country, and we want to believe, like I echoed your statement on terms of the American dream still is very much alive and well. And so let's keep it going. You know what I mean? So with that being said, if any of this conversation, is helpful to you, share it. Give us your opinion. What do you think this situation with immigration, where are we going? Are you willing to enter into a conversation when it comes to your political views? Why do you support what you support? Maybe you don't have a phenomenal argument about it. Or maybe you can help us understand why is it that some people are ignoring the obvious, right? And so, but whatever the case may be, we definitely want to hear from you. And hear your position, and share the video, right? Make sure that other people will get the chance to see, and hopefully we can continue our process.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.